Hey, what do you say? It is the RBN Roundtable. I am your host, J.B. James Fauntleroy, and I am here with my beautiful brothers and sister today with Nick, Sabrina, and Rome. We are here to relax your mind and to ease it and tell you about some of the bullshit that's happening around the world and in our country. Oh, ladies first, Sabby, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, JB. I noticed we're not dressed alike tonight.
Nope. We're not doing that again. Not this time. Well, maybe next time. We'll do that. We'll do that like Wonder Twins. Nick, how's it going, bro?
I'm just here to watch James and Sabby tonight. They've been on fire.
No. No.
You guys,
No. We're not doing that.
you guys had to see their show. You guys had to see their show they did. So I'm just here to watch Sabby and James. Me and Rome, we probably gonna be here chilling, smoking. You know we do.
Ron, what you say? You muted.
See, I'm about to chill. I got my pack. You know, hey, shit. I'm just here to see Sabby. I really want Nick to go off like he did last time on CJ and Nick's show.
Just for YouTube's sake, no, that's CDC recommended medicine that Rome say.
Oh yeah.
Let's just say that. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's CDC.
We say that we're gonna get demonetized quick. But yeah, so what a week, man. What a week though, right? Like, by the way, anybody who's watching, please make sure to smash that like button, and if you're new, please subscribe. And just to let y'all know, the YouTube algorithm don't like us. All right. So if you guys can make sure to do that. And also, if you're watching, if you guys can share on different social media, please make sure to do that because we're not here to convert people on the left because they're already there. We're actually here to help people to, realize class solidarity and migrate to the left. So that's one of the reasons why I always say to make sure to share on social media so that we can broaden the horizons of other people. So, make sure to do that. But I kind of want to start off with a funny story first. Get it going.
Why not? It'll be a new year.
You have fun,
man. I'm talking.
I'm not
gonna rant.
Right? My son's birthday about to pop up in like 6 hours, nigga. I want
for real?
to pop up. Oh yeah, he about to pop up in a minute. I got a little something for him. This nigga don't know how to keep his shoes together, so I got a little something for him. He too privileged, so I'm gonna get him together.
How old is he gonna be?
9.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
9.
I feel old. That nigga almost he like right here. I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
I wasn't even that tall, but anyway,
All right, cool. All right, happy birthday to your son, by the way. So hang on, let me. Where did that? Okay, I'm forgetting how to operate this thing. All right, so share my screen. All right, and wait, did I? Oh, that will make sense. Do that.
You good? I can share it too, man.
I got it.
But the Democratic Party today, is is less functional internally, despite the fact that we probably have more in common today, meaning I would say that we're pretty much uniformly an anti-racist party. There's obviously going to be some exceptions. We're very much supportive of women in politics. That was not the case back then. You know, the big issues that divide us are the financial issues. You know, labor or not labor. You know, are you an Obama Democrat or are you a Labor Democrat? So with that being said, Manchin is not operating from a place of being a team player in the Democratic Party the way that Lyndon Johnson did. Lyndon Johnson had an agenda to get things done. Joe Manchin clearly does not have that agenda or that motivation. I don't think Joe Manchin wants to be leader. I don't think he wants to be president. I think he's a sociopath and probably like one of the worst ones in Washington, which says a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't think I don't think it's about money even, because he's making a lot of money. Like everyone was like, oh, you know, Sinema's just trying to get a job on CNN. Hey, breaking news. She could have left Congress and gotten a job on CNN. Like she's not doing this for $200,000 a year. There's something much bigger in their psyche. And you know, and I don't know also who's in his ear on the other side.
This is BreadTube in a nutshell. Do you guys see what they do? They will have segments where they sound anti-establishment. They'll have segments where they will talk about healthcare, criminal justice, but then they will deter people into saying that the Democratic Party, the party of the police state, the party of Jim Crow Joe, the party of prison slave labor. You guys know Democrats get paid more from police unions in the Senate than Republicans do. So ask yourself this question. I'll pass it to the panel. Why do privileged, often white progressives, see the Democratic Party as an anti-racist party, despite their foreign policy, despite the fact that Biden is running a more efficient ICE program than Trump did? Because one of the reasons why he's able to deport more people, because he's running a well-oiled white supremacist machine. But their job is to talk about all the problems of society and then twist it and say, it's Ben Shapiro's fault. It's only Republicans' fault. And they do play their role. But you see how it's misdirection. The Democratic Party is the anti-racist party. There's so much more to break down that clip. I'll pass it to the panel. The next mini topic I want to take out of this is the economic part, because that's very telling. But I want to get you guys thoughts. Savvy?
I'm going to share something really quick in reference to that, because Courtney Banks actually shared this video on Twitter and commented about it, and Omiki Kunst responded. So I'm share my screen really quick. And I replied to her response because I'm like, does she not even realize like what she's saying right now? So Courtney said, I don't think one could say the Democratic Party is anti-racist, while also saying the largest divides currently in the party are financial issues, labor or not labor. If you aren't for my economic uplifting, I wouldn't call that anti-racist. Juneteenth doesn't pay bills. And so now going down, she actually replied to this. Let me pull this up. Oh boy, there's a lot of replies. Let's see if I can get. Well, there's me. I said they actually believe racism is exclusive to one party. I think it's a little. Okay, so here she is. So she responded to Courtney and said, you're fundamentally right, but I'm saying what they put themselves out as. And so I responded and said, no, Nikki Kunz, you are describing overt racism. There's also covert racism. And this is something that I've talked about before with the Democratic Party. I said Republicans are overtly racist. Democrats are covertly racist. If you look at the policies, you can see this as well. This is why, like, Joe Biden will continue to fund the police state just like Trump did. All the policies that they put in place, they don't really help Black people. They just virtue signal. So they'll give us something like Juneteenth for a holiday, but they won't implement policies that will actually help the Black community.
Ask
Again,
yourself,
this is, I'm just saying, like, this is what they do. This is why we tell you guys, like, these are the white leftists that have these large platforms. This is the message that they're getting out and putting out to large, massive audiences, and people will watch this stuff and they'll believe it. Won't look over to black leftists and get our opinion about it. They'll believe what these white leftists say, and it's problematic and it's dangerous. It's dangerous rhetoric, and somebody needs to put a stop to that. Again, like, why are we listening to them about what it means to be anti-racist?
I don't know who put that on the screen, but that's hilarious.
I feel like
I don't know who did that, but that's absolutely hilarious because and Rome, I want to get your thoughts, but ask yourself this question, guys: why are she even said the Democrat paints themselves, their narrative, their branding is anti-racist. So the question is, why are you helping them? Why are you being a Democratic Party operative? When I say that, people are like, "Oh, what?" You say TYT people are Democratic Party operatives? Yes, that's quite literally what they are doing because she says the Democratic Party narrative that they say they are anti-racist. So why would you say that as a fact? So the Republican Party say they are a party of freedom. So when the Mickey Cons, when you bring up the Republican Party, do you say, "Oh, the Republican Party is the party of freedom"? No, because you're not a Republican operative. That's not what you do. That's something like Charlie Kirk would do when he talk about Republican Party. Republican Party, the party of freedom, right? So why are you doing the work? You're a Democratic operative, but wrong. What were you about to say earlier?
I just feel like a lot of them benefit off that shit. You know, they benefit off of the police bills and shit like that. And even if they don't actually have people that's in the army, people that's family members that's in the police state and whatnot, they might have podcasts or whatever. They make money off of our suffering, just like how you know, a lot of these people in TYT did or whatever. You know, they spoke about our suffering, but they never actually did anything to combat what we have been through. And they make money off of it, and they get clout off of it. They build capital off of our lives. So they're gonna go wherever the wind blows. Especially a woman like a person like her is gonna do whatever it takes to grab some type of power in this political field, and we see that with a couple of people, even some people that we done shut down before that tried to say that they was on our side, but they called us these people, you know. So, but these are these type of people right here, you know. That's all I really have to say about that.
My question is the same as Nick's: is if that's something that they brand themselves as, then why are you uniting with? If there's something that they brand themselves as, and you recognize that it is not what they actually are, why are you still in line with them? If you consider yourself someone that uh, feels that they have a lot of racist elements, why do you align yourself with them? That's a question that needs to be asked of you because you recognize that they are that way. And you even clarified your position in saying that they paint themselves that way, even though they aren't. And yet you still try to sheep herd people into that party. The question is now, are you willing to rectify that position and say, you know what? I'm not going to be in this party anymore. I don't think you guys should be in this party anymore because as which you would probably classify yourselves as the anti-racist, then why would I sheep herd people into a party where their only way of giving any racial minority restitution is just to kneel in kente cloth instead of actually pushing for reparations for that group of people? But unless you believe they are actually the party of racists, but you said they paint themselves as that, not that they are that. So therefore, either you believe the bullshit or you don't. Which one is it?
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to show people this book. I have this book called Nice Racism, And this is exactly what I've been talking about. And it says how progressive white people perpetuate racial harm. This is exactly what I've been talking about. This is what they do. They think that because they have BLM in their Twitter bio or they have these signs like in their yard or whatever, that they're doing the right thing, that they're actually helping Black people. But a lot of times they're the ones who hold us back from progress. They'll say that we need to do certain things. They'll say, yes, we need Medicare for all because they're included in that group. They'll say, yes, we need to increase the minimum wage because they're included in that group. But whenever we put forth issues and policies that are specifically for Black people, all of a sudden they'll walk it back. They'll say, oh, no, we don't need to do that right now. Where are we going to get the money from? Oh, that's not something we need to venture down that road. I don't think we should do that. You have people like Vosh who's debating Charlie Kirk, telling him that reparations should be based on class and not on race. And these are the people that a lot of people are listening to. And this is dangerous rhetoric. And this is why I tell people a lot of times they're the ones that are holding us back from progress, not people on the right, not people in the middle. It's the white progressives who say that they care about Black people and Black issues. They're usually the ones that will come forth. And anytime we try to fight for things that are specifically going to help us, they want out of it. They want nothing to do with it. They'll try to smear it in any type of way or form. So we have people in our own group who are preventing us from getting progress and getting ahead. And everybody needs to pay attention and they need to call it out.
And then another way they actually serve white supremacy is when we call them out on their anti-Blackness or being weak on Black issues. They then call us divisive. You're dividing the movement. You're dividing the working class movement. If you're not for standing for Black issues, if you're not standing for reparations, if you're not standing for ending the police state, you are not standing for class issues.
Hey Nick,
You're not standing for class issues. Go ahead, James.
When people who claim to be progressive, especially white progressives, if they claim to be the people who stand with the oppressed, and if we're oppressed, but they're not standing for Black issues, does that mean that they're standing for the oppressed?
They want to negotiate our rights away. And people always ask me in affinity why we say we need a Black-led, indigenous-led movement, because we've seen the results of what happened when you have a bourgeoisie majority-ran movement. What I mean by that, in this case, if we had a bourgeoisie white-led movement, just like the socialist movement in the 30s and 40s, they will sell you out quickly. They will negotiate you out of the table. One part of leftist socialist history that is left out in America is the fact that there was actually a big debate on whether white socialists should actually spend political capital fighting for Negro issues. And guess who won that debate? And once again, if you read history to see what's going on right now, the same debate is going on right now. There is a giant contingent of progressives who trying to cheaper Black leftists, and they tone police Black leftists because they want us to negotiate our leverage away, the same way the white socialists in the 40s did. And the thing is, the depressing fact is they have won. They were successful in 2016, 2020, multiple times, where you got an entire progressive movement that sold Black people out to the police state. Once again, when they side with the Democratic Party, when they side with the Capitol Police, when they side with the military-industrial complex and Joe Biden. So let me show you this. I think this is a good transition to this. So let's get into the economic part of this, right? So now we're talking about how you had Nikki Kantz covering for the Democratic Party, which is a racist party, but she's trying to cover and say they are anti-racist party. But there actually is another part of this video that is actually very revealing. When she talks about economics. Do you guys got the video up? Should we play that part again? Because when she talks about the economics, I want to break that part down again. Do you guys mind we play it again? It's a very short clip. Let's play it again. Because I want you guys to pay attention to the economic argument she make, and I want to get you guys take on that because I got a lot to say. I actually had the video here as well, so I can play it. Oh, there you got it. So once again, it's a short clip. So let's watch it again and let's analyze the other argument she made that is insane. But go ahead.
But the Democratic Party today, like, you know, is is less functional internally, despite the fact that we probably have more in common today, meaning I would say that we're pretty much uniformly an anti-racist party. There's obviously going to be some exceptions. We're very much supportive of women in politics. That was not the case back then. You know, the big issues that divide us are the financial issues. You know, labor or not labor. You know, are you an Obama Democrat or are you a Labor Democrat? So with that being said, Manchin is not operating from a place of being a team player in the Democratic Party the way that Lyndon Johnson had an agenda to get things done. Joe Manchin clearly does not have that agenda or that motivation. I don't think Joe Manchin wants to be leader. I don't think he wants to be president. I think he's a sociopath and probably like one of the worst ones in Washington, which says a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't think I don't think it's about money even, because he's making a lot of money. Like everyone was like, oh, you know, Sinema's just trying to get a job on CNN. Hey, breaking news. She could have left Congress and gotten a job on CNN. Like she's not doing this for $200,000 a year. There's something much bigger in their psyche. And you know, and I don't know also who's in his ear on the other side.
See, now this is, you see how she provide cover for these oligarchs in the Democratic Party that is waging class war. And she makes it seem like they're just a simple moral disagreement. like Joe Manchin and the conservative Democrats are somehow like standing up next to a billboard consulting with a bunch of economic professors with legitimate concerns. Like, yo, I really want to get this done, but I have no, it's been proven many times that Manchin is not negotiating in good faith, right? But she pretends that he is. Like, oh, he just have good faith concerns. It's not ruled out corruption because they already rich. You guys see the lack of class analysis here? It's class war. But go ahead, JB.
To be fair, she did call him a sociopath.
Yeah, that's weak. That's weak. You got to call him out for being class loyal. There's a class war that's going on right now, and there's also something that she mentioned before. She's like, well, and this is such a giant leap in logic. I don't understand people who are supportive of the Democratic Party. What they do, they say, well, we mostly agree on stuff, right? We are largely intended. We are most united. That's the argument she was making again. We are the most united as a party we've been. We're anti-racist. We got the same moral values, except economics. You got blue dog Democrats, and then you have people who are progressives. That's a giant difference. That's a giant. And you see how she just scoffs that? Because they're comfortable. Now, I'm going to show you. This is the last thing I'm going to share, and I'll pass it to the panel. So if you think these are small differences, let me show you guys this. This is my boy Mac tweeted this out. You think these are small differences? Biden under-delivers on social spending, over-delivers on military spending. Something we've been reporting on this show for months. Joe Biden, when you look at his spending, when you look at his policies, he is to the right of Ronald Reagan. And factually, as I showed on one show before, he's to the right of Trump so far. And you see how Namiki is trying to point that and paint this as a small disagreement. Rome, is this a small disagreement? Spending this much money on military? Spending more money on the police? You could not be further apart than me politically if you support this.
There is no reason why our police should get more funding than public education, the schools, and shit like that. But that's what these people fight for, and they have these people believe that they are doing everything they, you know what I'm saying, that they are actually fighting. Actually, one thing I want to say is fuck David Duell, you know, and I had a lot of beef with people saying that Canadians shouldn't have a platform on American politics. I really feel like that. You don't live here, bro. You don't go through the same shit. And it's a difference from you having, you know, an opinion on certain things, but you making money. You got influence. You know what I'm saying? You driving voters here and there, right? So fuck you. And what I'm going to say about her is she's a fucking idiot. Overall, because not even just that. She's an idiot and she's out of touch. You can see that these people never even talk to black people or never hung in a black neighborhood more than you know what I'm saying, the 20 minutes that they
don't talk to workers
right. Don't talk to workers, don't talk to nobody. So I don't know who the hell goes to these people for information. Like, what are you learning? What are you getting for these people? But
Rome. Bro, remember when we had a union guy on the show during the General Strike Summit? And he said, in order for us to have an effective working class movement, we have to work with people we disagree with, whether they're conservative or whether they are on the left. That's what a union leader said on our show.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the majority report, the Mickey, David Dole, and their sphere, when you mention the idea of working with conservatives, Red Brown Alliance, that's how you know they don't talk to workers, because that is what unions want us to do. That is what they said on our show. The General Strike Summit that David Dole claimed we didn't have labor organizers on.
But that's the only way unions work overall anyway, because you're going to have black people, you're going to have young black people, you're going to have old white people who's racist, you're going to have young white people who's progressive, you're going to have conservative young people, you're going to have this and that and blah, blah. You can't let them politics get in the way of you unionizing or organizing. So, yeah, what they're doing is dividing us and keeping us in these echo chambers to where, you know what I'm saying, like, holy crap, it's so crazy. But that's all I'm gonna say. Fuck David Dole.
It's really interesting too, because like David Dole did criticize the General Strike Summit, and at the beginning of the video he said he didn't even watch it. So how are you going to criticize something that you didn't watch? That's how deeply unserious these people are. You have to pay close attention. Nomiki Kuntz went on to say, well, he's not like LBJ. You know, LBJ went in there and got things done. LBJ also gave a lot of money to the Vietnam War. That's actually the reason why we didn't get all of those social programs that he had in mind. So make sure you mention that part too.
Mm-hmm. And wasn't LBJ a racist too?
Hello. This is what I said before. They going around touting they want us to praise these people like LBJ. They want us to praise people like FDR. Me and Marcus did a whole show pointing out the problems with FDR's New Deal and how it affected Black Americans, which you are not hearing on those shows. So that's why I tell people you need to ask yourself, why are they not sending you that message? They are still trying to keep you in the Democratic Party at the end of the day.
Oh, thank you, Skeptical Mantis.
There you go.
Nomiki's mother, Kathy Kuntz, was an elected Democrat official. Nomiki is connected.
A lot of them are. Like, if you look up like their background, a lot of them are, and you'll be surprised to see like who they're connected with and why they have the talking points that they do.
You guys, actually, there's a video I seen a long time ago, and Nomiki Kuntz, she actually started her career out being very pro-war. You guys know that? Like she used to, and I'm trying to see if I can find the video now. It's gonna be very hard to find, but she started out her early career being an MSNBC host, like manufacturing consent for the war in Syria, making an argument on how U.S. presidents in the Middle East is actually good. Like these are the kind of things that she have done. I'm trying to see if I can find a clip, because this is kind of stuff that sticks to me. And this is the kind of people that is within the sphere. Like Cenk Uygur used to be very openly pro-war, where he said he thinks U.S. presidents, once again, is a good thing. He was very open when he argued these kind of things. If you guys give me, which I really wish I can see, I really wish I can find this video. Maybe if you guys give me time, I might be able to find it. But it's a video compilation all the time where she talks all this pro-war nonsense, and she flipped once Bernie ran, where she remarketed herself. Crystal Ball did the same thing. Crystal Ball was a really pro-Obama Democrat. Like once again, these are things that people don't talk about. But when she ran in 2010, once again, and that's not judgment, because there's a point where I was a pro-Obama Democrat, right? But they ran and they were pro-Democrat, pro-Obama Democrat.
But bro, this is what they do. Remember,
they market themselves that way.
Remember when we went after all these motherfuckers? When I went after Tim Black, I called the shit out. Now it's time to fight the Democrats. Now it's time to be a Democrat. What time is it now for them? Now they're trying to go into that. Now I'm going to criticize Democrats and the Democratic Party, but then when it's time to vote against the Republican Party in the midterms or the general election, they're going to ask you guys to vote blue no matter who.
Yep.
And they're going to criticize, even if they don't say them exact words, they're going to attack people like us who actually go against people like that.
What did I say earlier on my show earlier today when I went live? I said something to the effect of, and later in the new year, and then also in 24, they're going to say this is the most important election of our lifetimes, and they're going to say, well, you guys need to vote for Democrats so that we don't let fascism take place in our country. Go to Act Blue and donate today. That's what they're going to do, right? But the thing is that if they're talking shit about Democrats now, but then when it comes time for the vote, oh, they're somehow better than Republicans, even though. And I asked this question again on my show earlier today. If you're a Republican, if you're a conservative, why in the hell do you hate Biden? He's given you everything that you want. I mean, Joe Biden might as well have on a red hat, some black boots, and have a sack on his shoulder because he came in like Santa Claus for y'all, giving y'all everything y'all wanted. And y'all somehow say, oh, y'all don't like him? And then, if you're a Democrat, why in the hell are you praising this man? Because he's basically Trump in Biden's clothing. It's like, what? What in the hell? Yeah. And Steal My Beat said minus the freedom. Yeah, of course. Minus the
Not
freedom.
only
I
that,
want to add this.
not only that, he is the white devil, dude. He is the reason why we have someone like Trump. From all these bills, all the wars, the '94, come on, man. Don't act like just because Trump is loud with his words. That's like saying that just because I'm louder than Nick, that I can fight better than him. No, he's MMM trained. Come on, man. This motherfucker been in politics for 50 fucking years before Trump even became president. But you're gonna say that, oh, somehow all this falls on this man, even though we see all these laws that we are naming off that really destroyed our neighborhoods, that destroyed our futures from black to white, from credit card, student loan debt, the 3 strikes, the crack house bills, whatever it was. This nigga was the white devil, and you want to tell me that Trump was worse than any? What way? Because he was just keeping up the shit that he was doing.
Hey,
like,
Cam.
You got me fucked up.
So, hey,
Cam, I just 1 second. I want to say this. Cam, I agree with you, but just to say, Biden is the other Trump. Just want to say that. He is. Everybody was like, we're going to get the worst Trump. No, Biden is the next Trump.
Yeah, he is the worst Trump. He further to the right in Trump on many things. So I just want to share this because I was going to give you guys some information. I couldn't find the video, but I found something that will give some information on what I was talking about regarding like the politics of these people and like Kant and the boutique left. So I remember when Jimmy Dore was debunking the Syria gas attacks. She claimed he was taking Assad money, for example. She supported even the civil war in Libya. The one that created slave markets. So that's right. The self-described leftists, the Mickey Khan, spent time training the Islamic opposition in Libya after the NATO intervention that disposed Muammar Gaddafi and saw him murdered in the street by jihadist proxies. And the video I was trying to find was she made a few appearances where she was defending the intervention in Libya, and like all the liberals do, they use the fact that, oh my God, Gaddafi is a horrible dictator, even though we support the worst dictators in the world, like for example Saudi Arabia and Israel, for example. But they use that as justification in order to get involved in Libya and actually create slave markets. So that's their politics. That's where they're coming from. They're not anti-imperialists. And if you're not anti-imperialist, you're not anti-racist as far as I'm concerned. And that's why it's easy for them to like, oh, the Democrat Party is good, because when they see Obama destroy Libya, that's not necessarily a negative thing. In fact, that could be a positive thing. Because like once again, these are the things that like Cenk Uygur and their sphere of support. So we're not on the same side, not left infighting. If you're not anti-imperialist, you're not leftist. And that's not me like being a gatekeeper, because my what I would define as a leftist is actually way more lenient than most people would be. Because my limit test for being a leftist is literally you gotta be anti-capitalist and you gotta be anti-imperialist. And when you look at TYT, they fail both. Like Cenk Uygur literally says he's a capitalist. He literally said, "Guys, I'm not a socialist. I believe in capitalism. I believe in free market." Like this is the stuff they say. So they 0-2, 0-2. So how can you say leftists infighting when they're not leftists? But go ahead.
No, and they're preaching like pro-war narratives about China because Breaking Points just did a poll with their audience, and the majority of their audience members is pro-war, pro going to war with China. So that says something about the rhetoric, the message that they're delivering across on their platform,
Do you
and
think
that is
that's
very
Tiger?
concerning.
Do you think that's Tiger? Because Tiger is a neocon. A lot of people
Yeah,
don't
but
get.
the thing is, Crystal's sitting right next to him.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to let Crystal off the ball, but like I think like Breaking Point, they got a giant audience, and I think a lot of that is like the Tiger, Joe Rogan, right wing sphere, and they all pro war. They all, and once again, that's not me. Just I'm not trying to let like Crystal ball off the hook, but I'm telling you guys that it is what it is. That's what it is. There are a lot of these like people that say they're right wing populists, and we spend a lot of time on this show debunking the myth of a right-wing populist. A lot of these people are right-wing populists. They support giant military budgets so we can go to war with China. And the reason I say that because I was actually shocked when I saw that poll on Breaking Points. The vast majority, I know exactly what you're talking about. Vast majority of them supported a new Cold War with China, and a lot of them even supported like boots on the ground war with China. So it's like, damn, that's the right-wing populist because I don't think. And maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe you guys got info I don't got, but I don't think Breaking Point's audience is libs, right? If you see like what they talk about, I think it's like the right wing populist crowd, so maybe some progressives and people who are like anti-establishment. So that's that group, which I think may be carried by the right wing populists and maybe once again the TYT progressives who are anti-China. So yeah, because there's actually a good point that Danny Highfarm made not too long ago. I'm gonna have him on Saturday show. I think on the 8th.
Danny.
And he was like, democratic socialism is essentially a concession to anti-communism. And I was like, whoa, that's true. That's true. I told you guys, I'm honest about my development. I actually never thought about it that way. Because think about it, democratic socialism cuts themselves at the left because they accept anti-communist talking points from the capitalists. That's actually a good point. But anyway, I'm riffing now. Anyone want to add anything else?
I think I'm good.
So do you want to move on to the next story? We can do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. So you got a story? I can do next story. Do you want to do next story?
I just wanted to say, hey, Jace, my grandson, how you doing, man? He watching the show. Hey, Jace.
Oh, cool.
He texting my phone.
JP Magana said Franco shared a Reuters link a month ago showing people like Crystal Ball, Kyle, Sam Cedar, Jink, and Anna are worth millions. I told you guys.
Yeah. Why do people listen? And I made a point about Rogan. Oh shit, we should talk about that too. But I'm like, why do people listen to these rich people? Like, I don't get it. Like, these people are out of touch, and to me, it's painfully obvious. When I hear them talk about working class issues, when I hear them talk about stuff like red-brown alliance, even though conservatives and leftists work with each other all the fucking time in terms of survival and being a community, working with each other, doing food bank drives with each other. This happens all the time in daily life. Conservatives working with leftists. Like, this is what it means to be alive where I live. I live in the Midwest. Rome live in the Midwest as well. I'm speaking for what I know, right? That is the reality in living in red states. You work with conservatives literally just on life and them being neighbors. But these people say red, brown lines. How out of touch are you guys? They say that because they live on the coast. They live in California. They live in New York. And they live in gated communities where other shit live. So when they think about conservatives, they literally think of the tatted up. Like, they think of a bulky, big white dude with Trump tattoos, right? And I'm telling you guys, like, and I live in Missouri, guys. I see those people. They're not as scary as you think they are. There are some white militias, but that's not them, all of them, bro. That's a very small percentage. Like, these people, like my message, the message I put on this show all the time, don't be afraid of your fucking neighbors. Stop buying into this divide and conquer game. Yes, a lot of these people got some dangerous beliefs that got to be challenged and defeated. I acknowledge that. But stop immediately writing people off. Like, that what people, they want you to put people in camps.
Yep.
That what Kareem Patel was talking about yesterday. And that's the whole racial paradigm that the capitalists create. They want people to create. They want people to put each other in camps, because once you put each other in camps, it makes it easier for you to play oppression Olympics and try to get ahead of the other group instead of challenging the capitalist class. That's a concept that Cream was playing yesterday, and that's why I would love to see the message of the channel be. That's the message of my work.
Yeah,
because you guys see, I clown these motherfuckers all the time.
yeah.
I clown the belief, I clown the politics, but at the end of the day, like, bro, if you work with me and you willing to form community with me, you're not butthurt over me clowning your dumbass right-wing beliefs. Fuck it, let's do it. But let's do it. But JB, what you about to say?
But yeah, there's
I'm
also
talking
this.
shit.
Yeah, there's this belief that there's also no way that people can change if you present the ideas to them. They write them off as, well, they'll never be able to change, even though they made one vote or two votes. But why did they make that vote? And what's the purpose behind it? And how can you speak to the specific needs of that person so that they can, make the necessary adjustment to see that maybe that particular person or that particular belief is antithetical to what you're trying to do as far as your life is concerned. And the thing is that they write them off and say, well, this person will never, come over to this side to, embrace it. And it's just like, wait a minute, who are you? Do you know their heart? Do you know their mind? Have you even brought these issues up to them in a different way so that they can think about it in a different fashion?
James,
Rome.
these are the same people that tried to take up for ex-Nazis. You know what I'm saying? So when they was trying to platform ex-Nazis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But when it comes to people like us, they was ignoring us, even though we still the hottest thing out right now. And they just act like we're not here.
So for our I think this is the last live stream of the year. For our last live stream of the year, we got fun stories for you guys. Because you guys just remind me of this story. So I think this is a great time getting the story. I like to call it the Joe Rogan or the shit lip segment.
Oh boy.
So I'm a martial artist, right? I'm a martial artist, and I seen Joe Rogan blow up, and Joe Rogan is a superstar, and I don't got a ton of bad things to say about Rogan, but I watched Joe Rogan podcast, I think when there was like 25, 26, like I'm talking about double digits, guys. I still remember he had an episode with Charlie Murphy on the show, and that was like in the early day. No one knew, like, he obviously had a platform, but as a martial artist, I used to watch his shows. I remember he used to have Chael Sonnen on, Uriah Faber. He used to have all these martial artists on. And once again, come from a martial arts perspective, I used to love watching the martial art podcast. It was great, really, really great podcast, especially with the fight companions. They used to watch UFC and all this kind of stuff. But as I watched the podcast, once again, I was a very, very early supporter. It was clear that Rogan is like an intellectual chameleon. Like, if he's talking to a far right wing Ben Shapiro type, that motherfucker will have a red MAGA hat on in 5 minutes. But meanwhile, he had a conversation with Dr. Cornel West. He would have Bernie Sanders on the show. He have Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, these people, and then he sound like a fucking socialist.
Yep.
So there's a point where I acknowledge, like, all right, I don't think this guy's a bad dude, but I think he's in it for the clicks, and I think he's in it for the game, and he won. It was an amazing game plan. When you get progressive people on, sound progressive. If you get right-wing people on, you sound right-wing. So that way you can build and cultivate an audience. It's a great strategy. It's a great strategy. People can't pin what Rogan is on. And once again, I know who Rogan is because I always knew he was anti-establishment, right? But he's a shit lip. Like, if you actually dig and dive into his issues, his this is what they say. And I'll pass it to you guys. I know I'm ranting here because I'm gonna share the story here very soon. And this is something Rogan would say all the time back in the day. He would say stuff like, "Oh, I'm fiscally conservative but socially liberal."
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is shit libs say. Like, this stuff shit libs say. So my thing, I like Rogan for his martial art podcast. I don't listen now because it's super mainstream. It's not like a Joe Rogan diss or anything. I'm just telling you, this is where I stand. Like, I'm like, this is where I stand beforehand. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think a lot of people blow up about him. Props for him for supporting Bernie, that kind of stuff. But he got very shit lib tendencies, and I know that very early on. But do you guys have anything you want to add before I actually share the story?
Well, I was gonna say what's really funny to me about Joe Rogan is that some of the same people that attacked Jimmy Dore about his view about the jab like mandates, they're okay with Joe Rogan having that same view. I've noticed that.
When you hear someone say they are fiscally conservative, socially liberal, you know that's them saying fuck poor people. That is what that
Mhm.
means. That is the most
Black
spineless.
people.
That is the most spineless, gutless take. You can. I side with the corporations, but I like the rainbow flags. I like all the performative shit. I like hashtag Black Lives. I like that's what that's. That's like the most spineless political taking you possibly have. And Rogan in his politics is exactly what happens when you have no class analysis. This is exactly what no class analysis does to a motherfucker. So why am I going hard on him? Now let's actually share the story here because this is, and I am willing to admit there's a part of me thinking that Rogan is kind of trolling here, but I told you I think he has shit-lib tendencies. So Rogan's case for Michelle Obama winning in the presidential race against Donald Trump. She's great. She's intelligent. She's articulate. Oh my God, guys! I sold cars and I cannot tell you how many times white motherfuckers told me I am articulate. Stop telling me that. Don't tell me I'm articulate. But sorry, that's anyway. That's shit lib shit. That was
They,
that's
they
what that shit
never
lib would do. Was
they
fat.
never say that about white
Nick,
people, by the
Nick
way.
is the first well-spoken black man to ever do something.
And it's not conservatives that do that. It's shit libs, guys. Because I'm telling you, it's people that are they're nice, and they happen to me multiple times. And many black, especially customer service workers, will tell you the same. And during my years of selling cars in Kansas, there'd be like these white liberal dudes, and they're like, "Man, I really appreciate, man. I'm gonna tell your manager you did a good job. You're very bright. You're very articulate." I'm like, "Whoa, what do you mean articulate? What do you expect? Do you expect me to be fucking yes, a master? You want to buy your car for me, sir? You want to buy a car for me, sir?"
hold on. You might as well also said, well, they dress themselves real nice, they shower, they're clean,
Yeah.
stays clean, sir. Like
So
what?
Either that, he thought you was gonna be a hood nigga or something. And coming that bitch like, yo, buy a car for me, bro. You know, I got the wheels for the low.
yeah, for real. I don't know what the fuck they expect. I'm telling you, I cannot count how many times. I even had my manager told me that. My manager is a great guy. Like I still got a lot of respect for this dude. And I'm just telling you, they just misled. Like their racial bias shows themselves on how they
Mhm.
really think about black people. But I'll tell you, this guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but he was a great guy. I think he was a great guy. But I remember he was writing my report card and he was like, "Man, I think you're great, man. Like you're very articulate." Like I'm like, "Bro, are you serious right now?" But one thing I think he meant well. I'm telling you, they show their bias that way. But James, what are you about to say now? And I want to get back to the tweet. I think that's a good mini segment though.
Well, the
Yo,
second part.
I'll be right back.
Okay. The second part where you said that she's the wife of one of the greatest presidents in modern history.
Oh yeah, let me pull
Bro,
the tweet back up. Yeah, so let me get through the rest of it. So
what?
let me pull it up, James, and I'll get your thoughts because I didn't fin. Because I just cut myself out right here. But he says she's the wife of the best president we had in our lifetime. So is zero greater than zero?
Bro, are you trying to get a cookie from black people?
I don't know
Are you trying to get a cookie? Like, no, he wasn't. And so why you're trying to
I'm trying to see if I can get the full quote so I can see if I can. I really
ask black people with houses how they feel about Obama, especially after the 2008 crisis.
Oh my
Mhm.
Lord. So I saw some people when I was prepping for this story. Some people was like, "Oh, you gotta watch the videos out of context." And no, hell no, bro. Listen to what he
No, it
said.
wasn't.
It's actually worse when you listen to the video.
Yeah,
Listen to
I
what
was
he
gonna say
said.
the video's worse.
Yeah, listen to the quotes. I really believe if Michelle Obama runs, she wins. She's great. She's intelligent. She's pretty much what the tweet said. He also said a ticket with Obama and Kamala Harris as vice president will provide a double dose of diversity. What Rogan sounding woke as hell right now. Isn't this the guy who always go off on wokeism using like the white identity politics bullshit that we rail against? He one of the people that pretend wokeism is bad, but there it is.
But
And
that's
the
why I
thing,
tell people not to take political advice from him, because he said multiple times he's like he's not an expert when it comes to politics, but people still will take political advice from him. He flip flops all the time.
Neither am
oh,
I.
he
But
has
I
millions.
still, but I don't say bullshit like that.
This is true. This is
But
true.
this nigga, this is grifting right here. When motherfuckers say, I had to come back, I had to run downstairs, I'm gonna take care of stuff. But I hear this conversation. I want to say, nigga, this is real life grifting in your face right here, bro. Right here, going from the hottest thing to the hottest thing, whatever will make you money or get you some type of platform or clout or whatever the fuck it is. This, yeah.
So look, Joe Rogan buys into the two-party fucking scam. And also, this could have been a headline as well. Rogan mused that former President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will make a super team. So is Rogan a red-blue fucking shill now? Like, once again, I told you guys, I watched the early days of Joe Rogan. This dude sold out. I didn't see that part. I remember back.
He changes it depending on who's on, because like I remember he endorsed Bernie Sanders and he got a lot of heat for that. People are like, oh no, he got an endorsement from Joe Rogan. That's really bad for Bernie Sanders. But then and he was for Medicare for all. But earlier this year, he changed his mind on Medicare for all and said he was not for it.
And he's this dude sold out, because I remember when he was like, I remember during like the Hillary Clinton Trump election, like, this shit is a joke, man. Both parties are a fucking scam. But all these people are con artists. I remember he used to call Trump a con artist on the show back in the day. Like, once again, I'm an old school watcher. He went from that to now he bashing Medicare for all. He pretending Trump and Ron DeSantis is a ticket that is actually viable for like workers. He pretending that Kamala Harris and fucking Michelle Obama is like, how the fuck do people think they're anti-establishment and listen to, like, this is actually worse than I thought it was.
Well,
Like,
he's
holy
not.
shit.
He's not. He's also against paid parental leave, because he had a guest on about that. He said he was against that. Again, he's rich. These people are rich. They don't need these things that we're fighting for.
He's rich.
And yeah, he also pals up with Elon Musk, all these oligarch motherfuckers too. So what is the theme of this show? All these people are class loyal. If you have a favorite celebrity, if you have a favorite rich motherfucker, kill that thought. I did it. I used to have people I used to look up to, like, man, that rich dude is cool. This fucking singer is great. This fucking person. These people are rich. I don't care about any celebrities now. I don't care what any of these motherfuckers say. I don't care about their life. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm grumpy. I don't get it. Why do people follow these people and think they're wise? Like, and once again, I liked his martial art podcast, and I say that up front, and that's why I preface this whole segment with all this shit, because I think Joe Rogan is good on some segments. Like, when I hear him talk about psychedelics and marijuana, I love those conversations. Like, I used to listen to those conversations when you talk about ayahuasca and marijuana, that kind of stuff. Those super eye opening to me. His martial arts shows was good, but this is what no class analysis does to a motherfucker. Like, his politics are horrific. The guy he said is the best president in his lifetime is the president that presided over one of the worst housing crashes of all time and a historic transfer of wealth from the rich to the working class to the rich. That's the best president in his lifetime. There's no class analysis there. Guys, if you're working class, like, if you're rich, if you're bourgeoisie, if you got a great job, make $200,000 a year, you're killing the game, boo-boo. Do you? Watch Joe Rogan, watch Bill Maher. It'd be great for you. I'm telling you, though, if you're a working class blue-collar worker making the average wage of like $30,000, which is like the average national wage, if you're making that much, why are you listening to these people?
That's how I feel about Eminem. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of niggas like, oh, you know what I'm saying? How can you be common as you listen to him? I'm like, shit, this nigga a good lyricist, but he is shit lib. Like, he's a white shit lib. Like, this nigga did a whole freestyle dissing Trump, and then he took up for Obama. Like, bro, did you not pay attention, or you know what,
bro? When you same age as me, we pretty much grew up watching all the rappers we like.
Yeah,
fall in line with the Democrat Party. Remember, like, you had the whole Vote with Die campaign that so many people in the black community
wearing them goddamn t-shirts, bro. What the fuck? Vote or die. Like, hold on, is that a threat? Is
No, it
that
should be vote and
is that
die.
a
Vote
fucking
and die.
threat? No, I'm playing.
It's
Freedom
vote
line.
and die. But once again, they're taken care of
It's legal.
because they get the tax cuts.
Yeah.
You know how Obama cut George Bush tax cut. You know how Joe Biden cut taxes for the rich. They are class loyal, man. These people are not supporting Democrats for no reason.
Yeah.
Fucking
Clash.
sometimes they say they accidentally say the quiet part off loud.
Yep.
Uh,
Chilling
yeah,
out with
no,
each
no,
other.
no.
Eminem stole Esham style. Esham is from the east side of 7 Mile. Eminem is from the 6 Mile or 7 Mile, 6 Mile east side.
I
Esham
don't know
was up
these
before all them.
miles. I'm like, I don't know these miles.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
stole
Bill
Esham
Maher-
style for sure.
Bill
That's
Maher
what
is the guy who unironically said during the primary that you're like, man, you know what candidate I'm looking at? You know what? Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar.
Oh yeah, I remember that shit.
My man said that with a straight face. Straight face. I'm looking at Amy Klobuchar. I think she's solid. That's who Bill Maher is, by the way. Embarrassing.
Okay, can I say this?
Oh
Amy
my God.
Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar is the rice cake of liberals. No flavor, nothing. Like boring, plain. Like snow.
I mean,
she's
who
like,
else is gonna stand out there in the snow saying
Like-
the same stud speech for the 15th?
What about her hair in the blizzard,
About-
though?
about how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
I gotta find it now. Wonder if I can find that video.
No, Nick, no, don't you find that clip. No, we're not gonna have every person in this stream fall asleep. No. Mm-mm.
But
I
want you guys
already got
to know.
melatonin, bro. I got my melatonin. It's over there. I don't need her on here.
I want you guys. If it wasn't for George Floyd, she definitely would have won. She definitely would have got the vice president pick, without a doubt. So it went for that. She would have been the pick, and they wanted that to happen so bad, and now they were stuck with Kamala Harris, who is doing amazing, as you see. Damn, you guys lucky I can't find it. If I
Yeah,
really
we're
search
lucky.
hard for it, I'll find it. But it's classic. It's actually a video that Trevor Noah. It's actually a video Trevor Noah released, which is funny enough. A shit-lib comedian, dude. But then he came. He's the one that really. Now that I think about, I'm searching and trying to find it. He's the
But
one
they
that made
came
that
after
video.
him.
I
They
mean,
came after him too, Nick.
oh, for real?
Yeah,
What
they
was-
came after him because he said some things about the jab. So just like that.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yep.
I remember that.
I mean, Trevor Noah, he cute and all, but he's such a liberal. It's like, man, get the hell out of here.
Dude, did Amy Klobuchar pay to have this video taken off the internet or something? What the fuck?
Probably. She probably
Bro,
threw-
like I've never able to find this video easy not too long ago. And now I'm literally searching everywhere. I can't find it.
she threw a stapler at somebody. She threatened him with a stapler.
All right, I had to go to the Facebook page. I had to go to the Daily Show Facebook page to find it. Here, all right, so I'm gonna watch this video is fucking hilarious. So let's watch this. Let's watch.
God.
If it wasn't for Derek Chauvin, she would have been our vice president, guys. I'm telling you.
Oh Lord. Oh God damn it.
About climate change in the middle, sent out a tweet. He made fun of me for talking about climate change in the middle of a blizzard, and he called me Snow Woman. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back, Donald Trump, the science is on my side, and I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. Sometimes, if you haven't noticed, you use a little humor. Like when he called me Snow Woman at my announcement in the middle of that thing, I wrote back on Twitter, I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump. So I wrote back, hey, Donald Trump. So I wrote back, I tweeted back, the science is on my side. And I'd like to see how your hair would fare. And I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. I'd like to see how your hair fares in a blizzard. And I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. Mr. Umbrella Man. And he called me Snow Woman. So I wrote back, I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
Guys, do you guys think Amy Klobuchar would do better or worse than Kamala? I'm not sure. Like if Derek Chauvin didn't kill our boy and she was picked vice president, I think Amy Klobuchar would probably be in the same position Kamala in, or maybe worse.
Yo,
That was such a bad joke.
hold up.
And she loved it. That killed the liberal wine moms. That slayed with them. But now,
man,
I want to bring up something substantive here, right? So, and I think that was a funny video, and it's like, damn, Trevor got clowned her, right? And it was surprising to see him to question like the COVID narrative. But you guys see like his criticism is like mocking jokes, right? Like that's embarrassing, but it's not like hard-hitting corruption, right? That's how far they're able to joke with these people. They're not able to bring up the fact that Amy Klobuchar is the second highest funded senator with police unions. Her hair in the blizzard, though, that's funny. But anyway, I'm not dogging Trevor Noah. I'm just letting you guys know there's a certain line he usually not allowed to cross. So he did cross that line in accident, like you said, Savvy. And then they lost their shit. What exactly happened, Savvy? What happened? Explain it a little bit.
He said something about. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Because I didn't cover the story. I just remember reading about it.
Yo.
So yeah, we are kind of trolling you guys. I see someone say y'all trolling us today. Yeah. I told you that this is flashing gonna be a fun live stream. I still got another funny story for you guys.
Amy Klobuchar is basically the personification of when Jigglypuff sings the Jigglypuff song and makes people fall asleep.
I found it.
Yeah, U.S. politics is all political theater. That's all it is. And I laugh at this shit. I think it's funny because that's the only thing that keep me sane. I don't know about y'all motherfuckers. I gotta laugh at these clowns. So let's go through this because I didn't cover this.
He said the Daily Show's Trevor Noah switches lanes on jabs and ignites a firestorm of online criticism. And it says right here, he's touched a nerve among a certain segment of his fans expressing skepticism in an online post of the motives of Moderna's CEO in pushing for new jabs. So he said this. Now look, I'm not saying the CEO of Moderna is lying. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I don't think he's the most objective source on this topic. I'll wait to hear what neutral experts say about the new jab.
That's all he said?
He said,
what?
Noah did say that if a new jab is needed, then you might need to take 15 minutes out of your year. And the video's here. Want me to just play the video?
Yeah, let's see what he said. That seems very very mild. You got liberals coming to the defense of CEOs now. Well, they always have, but big pharma CEO, they got mad. How dare you?
Yeah,
question the big pharma CEO. How was profit? I'm gonna Google it while you do that. The profits there.
They just want to be in them tribes, man. They want something to fight against. They have no fight, Nick. They have no fight. They don't fight for reparations. They barely even fight for the climate change that they swear that they care about so much. That's gonna fucking relocate them in a minute, especially on the East and West Coast. They don't care about the kids in the cages. They don't care about none of that shit. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Don't affect them until, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to care until it actually affect their lives or someone around them. They're going to actually see it. But for now, they're gonna jump on any tribe that You know what I'm saying? It's going to give them something to fight against because Trump is out of office and they're bored.
So they're
Okay,
making.
here we go.
Before you play the video, they're making $1,000 per. What was it per second? Yeah, $1,000 every second over the vaccines, guys. And that's not me making a statement one way or another. But I'm telling you, if you guys don't think that has anything to do with this, you are out of your goddamn minds. They say there are four big pharma, 4 new billionaires just created this year from big pharma executives. You guys think that had nothing to do with public policy? But anyway, sorry, Sadie, play the video.
On the one hand, almost all the Omicron cases have been mild so far. But on the other hand, the guy who stands to gain millions of dollars from new vaccines says we need new vaccines. If we don't make a new vaccine, this disease could be with us forever. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. Now, look, I'm not saying that the CEO of Moderna is lying. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I don't think he's the most objective source on this topic. I'll wait to hear what neutral experts say about a new vaccine. People like public health officials or the CEO of Johnson & Johnson. I mean, he's got nothing to gain because nobody's going to buy his vaccines either way. So I trust him. On the one hand,
Dude, wait, he said literally nothing. He said nothing out of the box.
And people lost it. Like people lost it.
Rich people lost it, right?
Wow. I think people should do everything they can to help take care of their communities. I don't like the individualistic mindset a lot of people have, but there is a giant like vaccine cult that is developing to the point where people are mad at you. You criticizing a big pharma CEO, you're fucking mad at that. I think that's a nuanced position. I do think you guys should do the best for your community. I think personal sacrifice for the greater of your community is not unreasonable. But the public policies and our government handling of COVID has been objectively terrible. And then people who are like, they love the vaccine, right? And they are like, they train like a culture war, like Steve just said in the chat. They train like a culture war, right? And they care more about that than actual like public health. They praise people like the CDC, like everyone talking about what they do now with telling people that they shouldn't quarantine. I'm sorry, they should end their quarantine for 5 days instead of 10. But Sabi, remember, a lot of people forget the same CDC told people to relax those social distancing standards in schools from 10 feet to 5 feet in order to open the schools for Joe Biden.
And I just got an email this morning that they don't even know if we're going to be able to come back next week.
Every decision that they made in this pandemic, no matter where you stand, unless you are a part of this culture war of COVID, which I am tired of. I'm tired of the culture war shit. Do what's best for your fucking community, period. But there are people who are trusting these scumbags, these Democrats, our government that has done nothing but failed us during this pandemic. This is not a pandemic of the unvaccinated. This is the pandemic of the failure of leadership. So I'm gonna show you guys.
I was just saying this on Straight Out of Politics yesterday with CJ. How you pointed out 42% of these deaths. This is way before. This is like months before we had 1 million deaths of coronavirus. 42% of those deaths could have been prevented if we had a universal healthcare system in America. But that's that fucking little tribalism that it gives these people something to fight for. But they're really not going to fight for something that's going to help all of us. You know what I'm saying? They're just gonna, man, don't listen to these people, bro. That's why I just push them. I fell out with some people that I thought was close with me about this shit because I feel like no matter how you feel about it, you're going to get it or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Protect yourself, do whatever the hell you can. Keep your kids away, keep you away, if that's what it takes. But don't be sitting here like these people are walking in fascism. And this is what the Democratic Party does. Even with Nazis, we've seen that the liberal leaders have brought in Hitler. So this is what they do every fucking time. History repeats itself because we never learn from it.
Uh, can I share something really quick? This actually kind of goes in line with what we're talking about.
Yeah, go ahead. We just having fun now.
And I shared this the other day, and I want people to take this very seriously. This is an article from ProPublica. It says they were the pandemic's perfect victims. The pandemic killed so many dialysis patients that their total number shrunk for the first time in nearly half of a century. Few people took notice.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. This is the ruling class, guys.
So, just so that everybody knows, I'm on kidney dialysis, right? I go to dialysis 3 days a week. This is kind of a long article, so I'm not really going to get too deeply into it. But for people like me, the risk is extremely high when it comes to this virus. And what have I been saying before? And people scoffed at me like crazy for saying this. Now, when I say lockdown, I'm not talking about lockdown without provisions. I'm talking about lockdown while paying people to stay home, backstopping people's paychecks, making sure that there is a rent cancellation, that there's a mortgage cancellation, that there's a car note cancellation, and making sure that you have PPE delivered to everybody, and you do it for about 90 days. You pay people to stay home. And when I said that, some people are like, oh, you can't do that. It would never happen and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but that's what needs to be happen. And yet, it's like, well, nah, we can't do that because the economy will stop. What do you want to happen more? Either the economy to stop or humanity to stop. I'd rather the economy take a hit than humanity take a hit. Because look, we already lost more people this year, including some family members of mine, due to this pandemic, because I lost family this year. Why? Because of the ineffectiveness of 2 administrations. And so people want it to be divided on this, when really it's not about being one against the other. It's about getting against the elites, because they're the ones who are driving this thing to be the way it is. Like Sabby always says, and I'll say it again, it's not about left versus right. It's not about jab versus unjab. It's about the elites. And it's about them, because they're the ones who are driving this. And they want this divide. And they want to shirk their responsibilities, because what they could be doing is paying people to stay home. They could be making sure that everybody has proper PPE. And they could be doing this for the sake of humanity instead of capitalism. But instead, profit matters more to them. And so now people like me are fell by the wayside, and we're dying because they're doing eugenics via pandemic. So what am somebody like me supposed to do? I'm sorry, go ahead, Sabby.
Oh, I was going to say, and then they tried to rush people back to work. And that's what I was saying. Like, if you had a job where you didn't have to physically be there, why are you making those people come back into the office? It just made no sense to me. So now what we have is you have traffic, which was already bad before the pandemic. After the pandemic, the traffic is twice as worse. It takes me twice as long to get home now. And that's because so many people do not want to take public transportation, because they know that's a greater risk for them to catch it, right? Because there's people packed in small spaces. So the traffic is increased, gas is increased, your commute times are longer. People are not happy. So you have people quitting like left and right. You have all these companies saying, well, there's all these vacancies, but we can't find anyone to take these jobs. No, because they don't want to go back to those horrible working conditions. And then they've changed some of those positions from permanent positions to temp assignments or to contract assignments when they were previously permanent positions. So they took the benefits away from the position during a pandemic. So do you guys see, like, capitalism is the problem? You have Dr. Fauci right now. He was on television. He was telling people, yeah, we shortened the quarantine time. Not because they feel you don't need that time, but because he said we got to get people back to work. It's all about them. It's all about the corporations, you guys.
He admitted it. Like, he just straight up admitted it. So,
Oh, and by the way, I just want to address this from Prester John. Hold up. Let me. Okay, he said people died because they were scared to go to the doctors and hospitals. And as regards to dialysis patients, yes. And guess what? If we had did what I just said, then there would have been less overloading in the hospitals, and people like me who are on dialysis would have been more comfortable to go to the hospitals so that we can actually get our treatments, and any other type of complications that are non-COVID related could have been done. But instead,
If we had a universal healthcare system in the richest country in the fucking world, then all these diseases can be prevented because there wouldn't be money in front of it. It wouldn't be a strong the insurance companies, whatever it is, who's
Oh.
blocking you from getting health care.
and
that's
one
the
more
thing.
one more point. We actually decreased the number of hospital beds and hospitals within this country over the years. Why? Because of profit. Because we wanted to make more profit instead of increasing the amount that we should have had. Why is it that we actually increased in our population, but we decreased the amount of hospitals and hospital beds within this country? It is because they're doing it for profit. And the thing is, if we actually had a system with universal healthcare, a truly nationalized system, we would have had the amount of hospitals and hospital beds in order to accommodate all the people that are being sick. But we don't. Why? Because they want to do it for profit. And this is one of the reasons why we're in the bullshit that we're in right now.
And they closed hospital in rural areas too. So you may have someone that lives in a rural community. If they have to go to the emergency room, they may have to drive an hour away. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like, talk to people that live in some of these rural towns about what they actually have in their towns, how far it takes them to get just to go see the doctor.
So there's something else I also want to add to this story as well. And I told you guys I was tired of the culture war aspect of COVID-19 and the red-blue game that developed because of it. And something that happened recently that is a very hilarious development is that you've seen Trump recently come out strongly in favor of the vaccines. Why do you guys think that is? Because he was in government and he was in charge during the development of the vaccines. So he wanted to sell the vaccine as this is the Trump solution. This is a Trump vaccine. And then when Trump was in charge, you had Democrats like Kamala Harris, for example, who was anti-vax, who straight up said, I'm not taking no vax under Trump. That is directly from Kamala Harris. And also, and this is what I said literally last year, and it's crazy how much this is coming true, guys. It's crazy. I told you guys, the plan that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats had, at least not you guys, my old channel, I should say. I told you, the plan they had, they wanted to crash the economy so then they can run against Trump's horrible economy. So now you have, and this is why I told you guys Biden is a great evil. And this is why he, in many ways, scarier than Trump. The same way he was able to get more people deported because he got more coordination with the DHS and they like Biden more than they like Trump. The same for COVID in the economy. When you had Trump in charge, everyone was all for lockdowns. Everyone was all for these CDC distancing rules. Everyone was for all these things to destroy the economy because they wanted to get rid of Trump. But now 2022 is coming, and now they need to run on a strong economy. So now the Democrats are having the same policies than Trump did. So now they want you to die for capitalism. Now they're making the state rights argument. And you guys don't think I'm telling the truth? Check this out. This is the tweet that Biden sent out. In any other situation, I would ignore this. But this is the important part of the story. Look at this tweet. And you hear a lot of Democrats saying this right now. And I tell you guys, I spot PSYOP campaigns immediately. I immediately spot whenever there's like some memo that was sent and a new messaging that come out. The new messaging that come out from the Democratic Party is this. We're ending 2021 with what one analysis described as the strongest first-year economic track record of any president in the last 50 years. I'm going to see if I can find the other. There's a dude that was getting racial today, Rob Reiner. I'm going to find this tweet and I'll show it to you guys. Because I'm showing you guys that This is a coordinated
Mm-hmm.
message that's coming out. So here it is. I found it. Like I said, it wasn't hard to find. So this is a very prominent Democratic Party operative, Rob Reiner. This needs to be shouted from the rooftops. Joe Biden has accomplished more for the working class and all Americans in the first year of presidency since LBJ and FDR. Oh Lord, I told you guys we're the most propagandized country in the world. But look, you guys see the message. I can show you guys much more, but I cut it off there. The
And
message.
he's a celebrity, by the way. He's a celebrity. He's very famous. He's very rich. So how does he know what's been done for the working class?
So my point is, the message coming from Democrats right now is Biden the best working class. He's the best economics presence we've seen in our generation. That's the message. So in order to facilitate that, you need a CDC to help you. In order for you to facilitate opening schools, you need a CDC to change their guidelines that says 10 feet social distancing to 5. You know they did that under Biden, not Trump, right? We have like we literally broke the record, guys, of COVID cases. But now they say we gotta relax the quarantine. That doesn't make sense. The reason why they are doing this is because they want to boost the economy so Biden can run on. The government is coordinated in this. Do you guys see the difference between a Democrat and a Republican? When you have an evil Republican, at least you have a united shit-lib government against him. You had the intelligence community that was trying to assassinate his character, undermine his presidency. But when you have a Democrat in charge, they will do everything they can, including destroying public health and having horrible public health policy, just so they can run on it. Now, instead of blaming leadership, they want to blame the unvaccinated. The reason why they blame the unvaccinated, so you don't look at the politicians and be like, you're the reason why you fucked up. You fucked this shit up. So now instead of them blaming the voters blaming the politicians, they'll just blame the unvaccinated and they'll vote for the Democrats. Do you guys see their strategy? It's very simple. Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Because I still have one more thing I want to add to the story, but I'll toss it to the panel.
No, it's true.
I just gotta go. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go take care of this shit. But
all right, take care, Ron.
Yeah,
always good to have you on
board. Thank y'all. I love y'all.
Yeah. Take care, Rome. Love you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that they also I think it was the day after Black Friday. I think this was on CNN. Yes, I think it was on CNN. They were talking about how Americans are the economy is thriving. Americans are out, shopping on Black Friday. Now I think it was JB who told me this. It was either you or your sister actually went to the mall and was like, no, it's not. No, like they were bragging, making it seem like all these people were out shopping and buying and things like that, and they were exaggerating because they want you to think that the economy is doing so much better. For a lot of us, the economy is still the same. It still sucks, just like it sucked last year. It still sucks now. People are still being laid off, you guys, and they're not talking about that. You got Pramila Jayapal. She sent out a tweet saying, we have the lowest unemployment rate in such and such history and da-da-da. And she totally left out the fact that they kicked people off of unemployment. How could you leave that out? So of course you were going to have a significant low rate of unemployment. This is what they're doing.
Yeah, that was my my sister-in-law. She went out and she went to one of the most well-known packed malls during Black Friday, where it's typically packed every Black Friday. And she went there and there was nobody there. And so that was big, because even during all through this year, you can go there on just a random Saturday and, because I'm in Florida and they have a lot of things relaxed, then it would have been packed. But Black Friday, no, it was empty.
So this is the last part I want to add to the story. So, Savvy mentioned the new messaging that coming out from Dr. Fauci. So I found a video for a segment. Say just in case you guys haven't seen it, I want to make sure you guys know exactly what we're talking about. This video, guys, is mind blowing. The corruption you see here is mind blowing, and the progressives and the liberals who defend Dr. Fauci, they are far gone. They are way too far gone. They are far gone the same way I see people who push the QAnon conspiracy theories, like the MAGA QAnon. They are that far gone. I still see people who consider themselves to be progressives, who they refuse to say anything negative about Fauci because they view criticizing Fauci as being anti-vax. Because somehow Dr. Fauci is the science now. He's the science. He's the science. We can't criticize the science. That's not science. That's a cult. So listen to what the new messaging under the Democrats is right now. So check this out, guys. This is unbelievable.
The purpose of it is that given the wave, the extraordinary, unprecedented wave of infections that we are experiencing now and will certainly experience more of in the next few weeks, that there is the danger that there will be so many people who are being isolated, who are asymptomatic for the full 10 days, that you could have a major negative impact on our ability to keep society running. So the decision was made, although it's not completely risk-free, of saying, let's get that cut in half so that we could have 50%, namely half of the 10 days, and 50% of that time, people can actually be out with a mask in society. The purpose of it.
That is mind-blowing. He admitted it. He literally said, we got to cut the recommendation, even though we have sky-high cases. And in that same clip, that is less than a minute, he said, yeah, I acknowledge it's risky. No shit, Fauci. No shit. Now, once again, you guys know I trash Trump all the time here. I don't know why I put this one up. But look, this is true. This is literally the same exact argument Trump and the right wing made in 2020. Literally the same exact argument. We cannot shut down society for this virus. What about the markets? We can't keep society running, because that is what he said. He said that could have a major negative impact on our ability to keep society running. So the decision was made of saying, let's get that cut in half. So the decision was not made out of public policy. So if you're defending Dr. Fauci because you're scared of being called anti-vax or being called anti-science, they're not. They're not pro-science. They're making their decisions based on the market. And that has literally always been the case in this country. That's why anyone who claimed that Biden, the neoliberal capitalist, would handle this pandemic better than Trump was kidding themselves. Because neoliberal capitalism as a whole, is not designed to handle a pandemic. The only thing that matters is profit value and making money for the businesses and crushing workers. There was no point during this pandemic was there public policy, public health policy. And during Trump, their policy was to destroy the economy so Trump would lose. Health be damned. And under Biden, it is recover the economy, health be damned. And you guys don't believe me? And this is the last thing I want to share, and I'll pass it to the panel. Our country and the people who live in it is propagandized to believe that we are in a shape where you care more about profit than social good. That can handle the pandemic. That's beyond absurd. And I always say that our country is the most propagandized country in the world. Let me show you guys this. This is a funny way to wrap this segment up, because Biden, despite having the vaccines, more COVID deaths, more COVID cases, despite having vaccines. You guys want to see what the propaganda that was coming out of our state was before COVID? Check this out. This is hilarious. The best countries, let me zoom this in. This is pre-pandemic. This is literally just before COVID started, right? The countries best prepared to deal with a pandemic. Look at number one. On this scale, the U.S. is the most prepared nation, scoring 8.3, wherever the fuck that means. So, I told you, we are the most propagandized country. Before the pandemic, we handle it more than anyone. Our country is the best. Capitalism is the best. But now, meanwhile, in reality, U.S. reports 484,377 coronavirus cases, setting the world record. What have we learned? When I say decolonize your mind, I mean it. When I became anti-establishment and when I realized I was lied to, everything I was taught, I tossed. And I almost started over. We're blank. Like, all right, let's learn how economy actually works. Let me read the real history. Let me see how government really works. Let me see what's really going. Like, I literally completely, once I realized I was lied to, blanked it out. So the people that say the United States is the best country, they are working on the premise of that first article. They read stories like the United States is the best prepared for the pandemic. Hell, there's probably an article somewhere that says United States handled the homelessness crisis better than anyone. United States, we handled the incarceration system better than anyone, even though we're the worst in these things. So, what we learned? Biden, Trump, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. They all well fucked it up. The only difference is the message that came out of the Democratic Party media establishment. Under Biden and under a Democrat, it's die for capitalism. Under Trump, we got to do everything we can to destroy the economy so we can beat Trump. And I'll show you guys that they're running on that for 2022. Any thoughts, guys? I'll wrap the story with that. Any final thoughts?
No, it's true. I'm just saying it's true. Like we really have to like pay attention. And those numbers that Nick gave you, that's not just people who do not have the jab. I want to make that very clear. Even people who have it have still gotten it. So again, what was it all for at the end of the day? Now, don't get me wrong. Like I had to get it. Like I didn't even have a choice. I had to get it because of my job. My job required it. If we didn't get it, we couldn't come back. Basically, we had no job.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're at now, ladies and gentlemen. And then we come back, and then people who already got all the jabs, both of them, are still testing positive. So then you have people coming in, have to go home, and they have to quarantine for it was like 14 days at that point. So then people coming in, people coming out. It didn't make any sense to me. Why didn't you just let us stay home? Why weren't we still allowed to work from home?
And people wonder why the tweet that I put out about paying people to stay home. Imagine if we did that. And then you wouldn't have to worry about cutting the quarantine time short, because if you're paying people to stay home, then you don't have to worry about society collapsing because people are literally being paid to stay home. And don't give me that bullshit about how you're going to pay for it when we literally propped up the markets last year to the tune of $4 trillion. And so if we can give $4 trillion to the stock market, we can give $4 trillion to the American people. And we can pay them to stay home in the middle of a pandemic so that they won't infect each other. But instead, we had to do it. Why? Because the big corporations wanted to get their slaves back to making bricks. And because of that, then guess what? Now we're out here making bricks and getting sick. Making bricks, getting sick. That's the way it is. And so, is anybody else still against paying people to stay home anymore? I mean, and this could be a policy that could be easily implemented because, look, they passed the defense budget in like 1, 2, 3. So, I mean, if they can do that, then they can implement this policy to pay people to stay home. And they could also back up people's paychecks, pay like 80% of their paychecks, their businesses pick up the other 20% or whatever. And they can just do that just like other countries have done. And then we can actually curtail this thing. But instead, because profit matters more to them, then they're just going to let us die for the sake on the altar of capitalism.
And
what
this
do
is
I know?
exactly what, yeah, like that's what New Zealand did. People are like, well, New Zealand has almost no cases. I wonder why.
Dr. Kareem Patel on here yesterday, literally just talking about how where he is at China, COVID essentially done because they didn't mess around. And I know there are a lot of people, they're saying like, oh, lockdowns are like destroying mental health and all this stuff. And I said it before, I don't necessarily buy that because we had a mental health decline literally for years before the pandemic. The mental health crisis is not due to the lockdowns. The mental health crisis is due to capitalism. People underestimate the devastating effects that capitalism brings to people. Also, the fact, the devastating effect that 800,000 people dying would have on a society. So it's not lockdowns that are inherently a problem. It's neoliberal capitalist lockdowns. There's good public policy that you can do. Our country just did not do it. So the mental health crisis that we had in our country, then that plus the neoliberal austerity lockdowns where they gave corporations trillions of dollars, billionaires made trillions of dollars. Meanwhile, they closed down businesses, told people to stay home, and they didn't give them shit. That's horrible policy. Not lockdowns, and that's what capitalists wants you to think. It's just the lockdowns. It's not. That's the new like deflection to deflect from the mental health crisis that capitalism is causing. Chris Hedges have wrote it many times. You guys know I love Chris Hedges, read and watch a lot of his work. He talked about the moral despair, the despair of poverty, the mental health crisis that has been going on in this country. He's been writing out about that for over a decade now. So now people are pretending that it's lockdowns. No, it's not. That could be. I can accept the argument that made it worse, but that's neoliberal capitalist lockdowns, not lockdowns in general. But I think you gotta be smart about this, and honestly, you gotta make sure that you're doing it in a way that will actually eradicate the virus. There was never, as I explained earlier, there was never a point in which our government wanted to do that. So that I just want to bring up that one last point. I think a lot of people get that confused whenever they hear leftists like me and JB say, "Yo, I think they should pay people to stay home." They immediately think of neoliberal lockdowns. And once again, you can even run different style lockdowns than they did. Yep. But once again, that's a whole nother conversation. I see so many people falling for it, man. I don't like it. That a lot of people are deflecting the society's failures on lockdowns. Like I don't like that. I don't like it because it's the system. Like I quoted examples on this when I tweeted about this. There's been a mental health crisis. That's why there's been an opioid pandemic. The opioid crisis was directly related to the mental health crisis. That's the crisis of despair that Bernie Sanders talked about, that Noam Chomsky talked about, that Chris Hedges talked about. So all this stuff we've been talking about as leftists and anti-capitalists for a long time, but now people are pretending that it's lockdowns. No, it's capitalism. It's our system. That and the fact that you have mandates that force a lot of people to quit their jobs, to be fired from their jobs. And then you had, once again, 800,000 people die. And then we got people who had to bury their loved ones. And then do they get a chance to grieve? No, you bury your fucking loved one and then you got to go to work on Sunday or Monday.
Yep.
What do you guys think this does to your mental health? Meanwhile, capitalists, the liberals who are capitalists, they would say, I care about mental health. Take care of yourself. Self-care, boo-boo. This is what they say. Meanwhile, they make their workers work 60 plus hours a week, force them to work during tornadoes and hurricanes.
Yep.
Shit,
hello, Amazon.
They don't let them socially distance. They don't let them mourn for their loved ones. And then at the same time, where these people are being called essential workers, when they ask for a pay increase, the message that comes from capitalists is, no, you don't get a pay increase because you're not shit. The work you do and your lifestyle is not shit, so you don't deserve a pay increase. What do you guys think that does to someone's psyche? Being told you're not shit, being in poverty, while people die, your boss treat you like shit, then you work hard as fuck, and then your boss is driving a Lambo because you're a worker value. That's why there's a mental health crisis. So it's easy when you're not a worker. It's easy when you make a lot of money to be like, oh, it's a lockdown. Oh, but it's not. Shit's been fucked up. You know how I know? Because I'm a citizen journalist. I talk to people on the ground who would otherwise be happy as hell if it wasn't for poverty crushing their neck.
Yeah.
It's been a problem for a long time. A good place to look at is West Virginia, and Paula Jean Swearigan talked about this as well, that they have the highest opioid epidemic in the United States. They're also the second poorest state in the country. So these two things are going hand in hand.
Hold up. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm
I was just gonna say,
I'm talking out loud.
Yeah, these two things go hand in hand, you guys. Well, this is what happens when people feel like there's no hope and they're just living in despair and they're just barely getting by. I mean, it's just like, how long is this going to continue to go on? And like, people won't address the underlying issue, which is capitalism. People won't do it. We were just talking about this a couple days ago. We were talking about The View, the show The View, which has
Mhm.
turned into The Political View, and that's not the way that show started out in the beginning, but it
Mhm.
has become that. And they were frustrated that they're having a difficult time looking for the right conservative person that they want to fill Meghan McCain's seat, which is really funny to me. They have this long list of requirements, and I was bringing up the fact that how come you never see a socialist on The View? How come you never see a leftist on The View? Throw a libertarian on there. All you see
That's such
is
a good point.
liberals and like that one conservative. Because that network, it's not just the show, that network, they don't want people to hear that message. You think they'd have us on there and have us on there talking about the class issue and capitalism and addressing those things? Hell, they didn't even want Bernie Sanders on there when he was calling these things out. That's why they were so nasty and mean to him. So it's all a part of the game.
Imagine Savvy actually getting a job on The View.
That's such an interesting point. I remember I saw Bree talking about this as well. And the funny thing is, just to show you guys how scared they are of Marxist and socialist ideas, this will be great for TV. Because think about it. Why are they looking for a conservative? The reason why they're looking for a conservative, because good TV is having a dipshit like Meghan McCain argue some right-wing talking points to the wine mom liberals. That's what they want. They want confrontation. They want confrontation. There's no better confrontation you're gonna get when you had a shit lib like Joy Behar on the panel with someone like Katie Hopper or Brianna Joy Gray. Can you imagine? Imagine Margaret Kimberly. There's gonna be fireworks every day. That'll be the best rated TV show because the fireworks that you will get from someone who's really about that leftist shit, like Margaret Kimberly is. Imagine her debating Joy Behar. Can you imagine? But despite how good TV that is, they will still turn that down.
Yep.
Because they're not going to sacrifice public perception and the flow of information just for ratings on one TV show. Controlling the narrative is more important.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to address a comment. Somebody said a little while ago. Oh, here we go. Still My Beast says, how do you lock down if you're homeless? When I said a lockdown, what did I say? I said pay people to stay home. So we're paying, say, like $3,000 per person to stay home per month, right? If you're homeless, then you know what? I honestly think that we should just start giving homes to people. I mean, look what we did with hotels, right? You can put them in a hotel, and also if you have their info, then you can give them $3,000 too because they're still American citizens, and then pay them to stay at the hotel, and then subsidize the hotel. But the thing is that ultimately, it's about making sure that we get past this. And the thing is that yeah, you can't lock down if you're homeless, but at the same time, why don't we just give them homes so they can lock down? But that's part of the grift of capitalism because they don't want them to be able to do that.
There's studies show early on they'll literally save money. If they just house the homelessness during the pandemic because that'll actually stop the spread. But once again, capitalists didn't care about stopping the spread. They never did. They care about protecting their class interest. So if they gave the homeless homes, that's not their class interest. That is the interest of the poor working class.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because don't get twisted too, guys. There's a lot of people like fucking homeless, lazy motherfuckers, fucking lazy people. There is a working homeless in this country. Sorry, I'm blanking on the actual number, like the exact statistic, but we have a very significant working homeless in this country. How can you work a full-time job and be homeless? That's what that's how crazy this country is.
Mm-hmm.
But Savvy, next story. We'll get the next story.
Yeah. Before we do that, just thanks to Intermarriary Fossil for your super chat, as well as Cordell Bissett. Have you seen the CIA vouch debate Franco on mandates? Funny. I haven't seen it, but I think Savvy saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. It was hilarious. I got to give kudos to Franco though, by the way, because he managed to remain very calm the whole time. The whole time. So kudos to Franco. So I have this story about Brian Williams. I'm playing this because I'm sorry, I thought this was hilarious. So for those who don't know, Brian Williams has announced that he's retiring. But what I want you to hear is this speech that he gives, because this just cracked me up. I was like, is this guy for real? And you have to remember, Brian Williams was also the one that lied about saying that he was attacked. He was in a helicopter in the Middle East and he was attacked or whatever. And then he had to come back and admit that he wasn't telling the truth. That Brian Williams. So here we go. Let me mute my mic.
Of peacock logos on much. Well, look at the time. I'll try to keep this brief. After 28 years of peacock logos on much of what I own, it is my choice now to jump without a net into the great unknown, as I do for the first time in my 62 years. My biggest worry is for my country. The truth is, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I'm an institutionalist. I believe in this place and in my love of.
Did you guys hear what he just said?
Now you know how he got that job. An institutionalist. That is the whitest thing I ever heard in my life. Like, that's the kind of shit that scares me, man.
Here we
What
go.
does that even mean?
You know how we have this is the kind of the guy. I remember I asked on my show, like, what the kind of guy who see the CIA and think they're doing a good job, like they're doing good work. Everyone know what the CIA does. When you say you're an institutionalist, it seems like that's an ideology that's based on inherently supporting your institution no matter what they do. That would be my interpretation of that. And that is an insane extremist ideology as far as I'm concerned. These are the people who they are repulsed and they scoff at the idea of defund the police because they're institutionalists. The institution of policing must inherently be good because it's an institution. The institution of the CIA must be inherently good because it's an established institution. This is such a brainwash cult. I mean, I can't even stress how extreme this ideology is. If you don't believe me, that, like, think about any empire or society that had amazing woes, right? Whether you're going to talk about Nazi Germany, whether you're going to talk about ethnic cleansing that went on many different countries, right? These same people, like, if I'm an institutionalist, I would support those institutions. Like, imagine if you're a German during Nazi Germany, I'm an institutionalist. That means support the institutions of the Holocaust. Like, say you're an institutionalist, I mean, you literally support. That's crazy, right? But I'm sorry, I'm going too long. Sorry, I'll pass it back.
Of country, I yield to no one. But the darkness on the edge of town has spread to the main roads and highways and neighborhoods. It's now at the local bar and the bowling alley, at the school board and the grocery store. And it must be acknowledged and answered for. Grown men and women who swore an oath to our Constitution, elected by their constituents, possessing the kinds of college degrees I could only dream of, have decided to join the mob and become something they are not, while hoping we somehow forget who they were. They've decided to burn it all down with us inside. That should scare you to no end as much as it scares an aging volunteer fireman. To my coworkers, my love and thanks. And I say again, everyone I've worked with has made me better at what I do. To my family, love and thanks doesn't begin to cover it, but now I have the time to better express it. My friends know who they are. No one's been blessed with better friends. To the guests on this broadcast, as you heard the nice man say a few minutes ago, it's always been about you. Otherwise, I'd be staring into the camera for an hour, 5 nights a week, and nobody wants to see that. You are the 11th hour and will continue to be the 11th hour. This is where I thank you, however, for being so great, for explaining these last 5 years. As a proud New Jersey native, this is where I get to say regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. What a ride it's been. Where else? How else Was a kid like me going to meet presidents and kings and the occasional rock star? These lovely testimonials that I can never truly repay make me hyper aware that it has been and remains a wonderful life. It's as if I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning in Bedford Falls. The reality is, though, I will wake up tomorrow in the America of the year 2021, a nation unrecognizable to those who came before us and fought to protect it, which is what you must do now. My colleagues will take it from here. I will probably find it impossible to be silent and stay away from you and lights and cameras after I experiment with relaxation and find out what I've missed and what's out there.
Oh, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just think it's hilarious because obviously he's not going away. He's also going to do other things, probably. Who knows? He'll probably get a talk show or something like that. But this is the same guy who Brian Williams admits that his story of coming under fire while in Iraq was false. Does everybody remember this? Look, NBC News anchor Brian Williams conceded on Wednesday that a story he told about being under fire while covering the invasion of Iraq in 2003 was false. Williams said he was not aboard a helicopter that was hit by enemy fire and forced down, a story he retold as recently as last week during a televised tribute to a retired soldier during a New York Rangers hockey game. So, how was this guy still allowed to report the news?
Because the establishment know he will always have their back. And when I say the United States is the most propagandized country, I explained this concept multiple times. Do other countries have propaganda? Yes. But they will straight up label and say, this is state TV. There are people who watch this cable news actor that I call them, and they think they're getting the news. People watch Rachel Maddow, who won a court case the same way Tucker Carlson and Fox News did. They pretty much say you can't take them and what they said at face value because they're just entertainment, and nothing that Rachel Maddow says, you can't expect her to be serious when she says it. That is what they argued in the court of law. Despite the fact they argued this stuff in the court of law, Americans turn on the TV and watch these people and think they are getting the news. That psyop, that's why the United States is the most propagandized country in the world. The propaganda exists elsewhere, yes, but no one holds a candle to us. Because when you look at these people on TV, they are the result of nepotism. They're not a result of intelligence. They're not even the result of journalistic integrity, as Sabi just showed you. They are the people they put in front of cameras because they know, the establishment know, they will say exactly what they want them to say, right? They're not going to rock the boat. None of that. They're the news actor. They're here to make it sound sexy. They're the one to be entertaining. Hell, you guys see the Fox News host they have over there, the female host. You see the skirts they forced to wear, the makeup they forced to wear. They are there to be sexy and entertain you on TV. But despite the very, very simple reality I just explained to you, I mean, what I just explained to you is not men warehouse models. That's exactly what they are. But what I just explained to you is nowhere near complicated political theory. But despite that, people think this is legit news. That's why no one hold a candle over the quality of propaganda in this country. But James, what's your thoughts? And I know Sabi gotta go, but I got one quick funny story that I can share as well after you leave, Sabi. But James, any last thoughts?
No, you can go ahead and go to that story.
So yeah, this will be a quick story. I thought it was funny and also very, very telling. Because even when I share you guys funny stories where we just rip someone, there's always a takeaway to have, right? There's always a takeaway to have with these stories. So the same way we are cursed with Barack Obama now, we have been cursed with Hillary Clinton for a very long time. She won't go away, no matter, despite the fact that she was embarrassed by a game show host clown, a political novice. People still ask for her opinions on stuff. So look at this article. Look at this parody. And once again, I'm gonna get into the substance of what is happening here. Hillary Clinton warns Democrats against far left turn before 2022 midterms.
Serenity now.
The far left turn, once the gaslighting is unbelievable. Here's another one. Hillary Clinton suggests a squad and progressive Democrats could sink the party in 2022 midterms because voters want a Congress that can get things done. There's a lot to say. I got a lot to say about this. About Sabby, James, anything you guys want to say about this? There's so much to add to this.
The establishment Dems that you have in Congress aren't getting things done either. That's the thing, and that's on purpose. That's on purpose, by the way. What have I told you guys before when I say this a lot about Obama, how he came back in New Jersey and Virginia and he spoke at those gubernatorial races that were happening? He was supposed to get voters to come out and support the Dems. Obviously, that backfired in Virginia. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, people like them, their role is to keep you from going further left. Their role is to maintain the moderate stance, to keep you exactly in the middle of the Democratic Party. They do not want things that are going to actually benefit the American people. This is why Obama keeps popping back up to remind us that he's still present, to come out against progressive issues. This is why you're seeing Hillary Clinton come up more often now. That is their role. They know that these are two people that have a lot of power, and they rely on them to do just as such. And they use identity politics to do it. They'll rely on Hillary Clinton because she's powerful and she's a woman. Well, you should listen to the female. If you don't, you're sexist. They rely on Barack Obama because like, oh, he's the black former black president. So if you don't listen to what he say, it means you're racist. And this is exactly what they do. So you have to pay close attention. Their job is to prevent any type of progress moving further to the left. Look at all the things Obama came out against. The freaking NBA strike. What the hell was his role in that? He should have had nothing to say about that. He spoke out against that. Do you know how far that could have gone for Black Lives Matter? He came out and spoke out against defund the police, and he actually got ridiculed for that one, by the way. Every time we try to do some type of progressive issues or policies, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton show back up to stop it. This is exactly their role. This is exactly what they're supposed to do. And you have to pay attention because they're the ones that are going to get the mainstream media attention. And this is why I get so angry at Bernie Sanders sometimes, because he's another one who is always on mainstream media and he does not push back on the Democratic establishment the way that he should. He is not as aggressive, especially when he was running his campaign. He has become just another shill, just like the rest of them. So it's a problem.
James, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so gosh, I don't even have any thoughts, dude. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Let me ask you.
Hang on. Okay.
Go ahead.
Hillary Clinton saying that we'll go too far left. Where has that?
She's saying that we are the progressives, the pesky progressives they're poking the Overton window too far to the left.
But they didn't get anything done. Look, I can understand if we got Medicare for all and a $15 minimum wage and all these other things done, and then it said it hurt us, but we didn't get anything. And so how can you tell us that we didn't get that it hurt us if we didn't get shit done? That's like complaining, oh, well, you cut yourself, and so this is one of the reasons why you shouldn't have a knife. But I don't have a knife. I never had one. It's like I don't have the tool in order to be able to do the thing that you accused us of doing. So what the fuck is she talking about? She's talking out of her ass.
Why the hell are we taking advice from the person who lost?
From who lost?
This kills me. This is what kills me.
I can't even make my voice go higher. She lost.
Look at this. Hillary Clinton said Democrats need to think about what wins elections.
Hey, her and McCaskill, should get together and tell us why, how they can win.
Hey yo, you're gonna have Hitler. He's gonna do a seminar on anti-Semitism.
We came, we saw, they died.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh my god, you
And this is the
Hey.
person that they take advice from. This is the person that they're listening to. The person who lost.
to hold the House and Senate. We need to win purple states. We need to think about what wins elections. Oh my god, that's insane. Like Chris Christie about to come out with a diet program. Y'all got any more absurd analogies that parallels this one? Trying to think of some more.
I hate to say
Hulk
this,
Hogan,
but
Hulk Hogan about to do a seminar on anti-racism. He about to talk about anti-blackness in society. Go ahead, James.
Lindsey Graham's going to come out as straight.
It's a mess.
So all right,
mean-
so let's get to the. I was having fun because we had to end, but now let's get to my substantive takes on this. Because once again, this is a funny story, but I think it says a lot. I think these stories actually always say a lot. Because now they're showing their hands, right? Because now I'll show you guys earlier. They're running on this fake supposed Biden strong economy that they're making up. And they also have another strategy. What they do every 2 years, despite progressive loyalty, is that they pin all losses on the progressives. Now, let's say in some fucking alternate reality that Democrats clean house in 2022, right? Just bear with me. I know we gotta use our imagination. Imagine Democrats kill the goddamn game and destroy the Republican parties. Do you think they're gonna be like, oh my god, progressives, thank you, I appreciate your guidance led us to these victories? No, they're gonna say Joe Biden and the neoliberal moderate agenda carried the Democrats to victory. That is what they will say if Democrats win in 2022. And if they lose, they're going to say, oh, the progressives' fault. Meanwhile, the progressives continue to stay in this abusive relationship. And now, look at what the article says. And you guys can feel free to interrupt me because I'm spitballing on my substantive criticism of the article, right? So the implication that Hillary Clinton is laying out, and Sabby mentioned this earlier, that they've been a thorn on the side of the Biden agenda. Oh my God, we want people who get stuff done, and it's the progressives who've been a thorn on our side. Hillary, have you been paying attention? It has not been AOC and Bernie Sanders. AOC and Bernie Sanders have been the most loyal lapdogs of Joe Biden, and partly in political discourse. There's no one who's a bigger Biden bro than Bernie Sanders. They fell in line for Biden's entire agenda. Their entire 2021 was not focused on fighting for Medicare for all. It was not focused on abolishing ICE. Their focus on 2021 was passing Build Back Better. Their focus was passing the Biden agenda. There is no bigger Democratic Party operative, no more effective Democratic Party operative than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So why is Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi, who said the same thing months ago? I covered this on my show a long time ago, how Nancy Pelosi was pretending that the progressives was like derailing the Biden agenda. That's not true. Like, what Biden agenda have they stopped? Did they stop any of these military budgets, ICE expansion budgets, the weapons to Palestine? What agenda did the progressives stop?
You didn't force the vote.
They didn't force the vote. Like, once again, you guys feel free to interrupt me anytime. They didn't force the vote. They didn't do any of this stuff. In fact, the biggest enemy of the Biden administration has been Joe Manchin, based on the theater. Now, once again, I think they're on the same page, but based on the theater, based on what Hillary Clinton is operating on, Joe Manchin is the enemy, right? So ask yourself this question. Why is Hillary Clinton calling out the progressives instead of Joe Manchin? It's almost like I reported before, Joe Manchin is secretly doing what the corporate blue dog Democrats want, but they can't come out and say it. Ooh. I told you, there's always something to take from these. We do funny stories here, but there's always something to take from them. Mm-hmm. And I said it before, I know you guys want to chime in. If it wasn't for Joe Manchin, if it wasn't for Kristen Sinema, it would be someone else. Because people like Hillary Clinton and their brand of politics that the Mickey concept is a small disagreement. Remember? They would do anything they can to cover for conservative trickle-down economics. Period.
Mhm. I
And
like
I
what
say,
I like what
yeah, go
Quaker
ahead.
analysts said. They said black women carried the Dems, so we got Kamala. Uh, and for anybody watching, black women don't like Kamala. Savvy.
No,
See,
no.
see, they don't like him. Just like we black men, we don't like Clyburn.
Can I address this, Smith, too?
Poppycock.
Can I address this, Smith? Because
Yeah.
there are one of the things that a lot of white liberals have the audacity to say to me. I'm a black leftist who live and have life experience, and I tell them the Democratic Party fucking sucks. And I tell them black people are apolitical because the Democratic Party fucking sucks. So I talk shit about Joe Biden all the time. I talk shit about the Democratic Party all the time. And what these white liberals say, the audacity, they say, how can you claim that Democrats are anti-black? The majority of black people vote for Democrats. It's you that is out of touch. The audacity, guys. For one, let's bust this myth right now. Let's look at the number. Why, when people talk about politics, they never include non-voters?
Nope.
So do those black people don't exist to you? The black people that don't vote. It's around 55%. 50% of black people don't vote in this country. So you're just gonna ignore them. You're just gonna take them off the table in your analysis and say all black people like Democrats. So let's take that. So half of black people don't vote, and then among the black people who do vote, that's half. Around 80% vote for Democrats. So out of the half that do vote, only 4 out of 5 vote Democrat. And now let's analyze that number. Do you guys know how many black people I know who, once again, I told you, who's apolitical? They don't give a fuck about Joe Biden. I openly hate Obama, and they don't care. Like, I tell you, this is how apolitical people are in my family. Like, they like, oh, Nick don't like Barack Obama. That's kind of weird. But they don't care because they like, I don't care about defending politicians. That's how my people are, right? But they will vote Democrat just because of habit. I will never forget my conversation I had with my mom. Well, she said, I remember the first time we ever talked about politics, she said, we vote Democrat. I'm like, why? Democrats, I heard they're good. Like, it's literally just that simple. We vote Democrat because they're not Republican. So once you take the number in half, right? Half black people vote. Then out of half black people vote, 4 out of 5 of the black people who vote, most of them vote Democrat just because our tradition. Not because they like Democrats. It's because they believe in the lesser two evils. So that's and so take that percent out, which I can't quantify that number. In my life, that number is overwhelming. So out of the people who actually do vote Democrat, out of the black people, how many people are actually like Joy-Ann Reid? How many people are actually black and like, oh my God, I love Hillary Clinton? How many people are black and actually like, oh my God, I'm a canvas for Stacey Abrams? Guys, that number is actually very, very low. I don't know the number because studies haven't been done on this. But if I were to guess, once again, this number means nothing. I would say out of black Americans, I would say maybe 1 out of 10, maybe 2 out of 10 black Americans like Democrats. Like, these are the people who like, yeah, the Democratic Party is good. Once again, that's my made up number. Don't anecdotal. But once again, take half, don't vote. Then out of the percentage who do vote, how many vote because they really like Democrats? In my anecdotal experience, that number is non-existent. But that's my last thoughts. I know I've been ranting for a while. Any last thoughts that you guys want to share? That I just wanted to debunk the whole black people like Democrats thing. And I had to tell people this so many times. And I don't think there's any flaw in my logic, right? I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that like people have to realize the majority of Americans don't vote. Just as a whole, majority do not vote. So when people say, well, black people support the Democratic Party, it's not as many of us as you think. Because the majority of African Americans don't vote. That's what Nick's trying to tell you. Like, that's so again, this is why I say it's really good to focus on the people who are non-voters. And the only reason why they say, well, black women came out in record numbers and voted for Joe Biden, but that was more so a vote against Donald Trump. That's what you also have to understand. So many people were just tired of Trump's bullshit that they were just like, no, we got to get this guy out. It's not like they were in love with Biden. I never saw a Biden sign. I never saw a Biden t-shirt, and I live in Massachusetts. So again, this is what it's crazy. Look, Dems are gonna lose 2022 and they're gonna lose 2024. Watch.
I want to address this last comment because this actually brings up a great thought that I wanna explore. Ah, shit, I just lost it. Where is it? It said here it is. Yeah, bye, Savvy. Thanks for sticking with us. I want to say this one last thing. Thanks for joining us. We about to wrap up here very soon.
Bye.
Make sure you guys check out Savvy's channel.
See you later, Savvy.
She uploads, I think, Monday to Friday.
She's
New
doing
Year's Eve stream.
New Year's Eve stream tomorrow, starting at 10 p.m. tomorrow night.
No, it starts at 12 p.m., but I don't come on till 10.
Okay,
Because
cool.
it's with me and KRTD Media.
Nice. Okay.
Bye.
Take
Good
care,
night.
Savvy. So the very last thing I want to say, because this is such a great comment from Steve, he said that's why leftists should concentrate on non-voters in Black communities. Now, you guys know my background, right? And how I got started as a citizen journalist. I got started because I quit my job when I was canvassing for Bernie Sanders, and I was in South Carolina, and I was traveling with Cyborg, the guy who asked for he was on the Justice League, and we was the actor Ray Fisher or whatever. We was going around and we was talking to Black people in Black barbershops. Like we were barbershop hopping, canvassing for Bernie Sanders. But I wasn't really canvassing for Bernie. I was selling socialism to Black people. I was talking to Black boomers, James, talking to socialism with them. And I was shifting a lot of these people to the left. I was introducing new ideas, especially to a lot of these conservative people in South Carolina they'd never heard before. So my last thing I want to say, this is why I call out the progressives who are lazy and don't now talk to Black people. Because James, do you remember the Nina Turner election? What was their excuse? What was their excuse? The excuse that I do not. There are people that repeated the excuses that came out of the Nina Turner campaign like it was gospel. One thing people say, "Oh my God, there's Nina Turner didn't have a chance." You got to look at the local community. The local community has so many older Black conservative Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people took that as gospel, ignoring the fact that voter outreach in Nina Turner's district was very low, lower than usual, about 16%, lower than usual in that district, because they didn't have no one on the ground. They didn't have no one talking to Black people. So my message as a young Black man who have talked to many Black people in my family, many Black boomers, who was on the road, literally giving speeches in Black barbershops, knocking on doors in South Carolina. These people are not unreachable. It's just the progressives, they don't now reach them. Yeah. The progressives do not know how to reach Black working class people. And the new problem as well, they don't now reach Latino working class people. They losing a lot of those people to the right as well. That's why we got to stop boosting the boutique leftists who talk nonsense about stuff like red, brown lines and stuff that Black people don't give a fuck about. And learn how to talk to them, because you can shit these people left. So James, I'm gonna get you in here. But what the Nina Turner campaign said is that they was doomed from the start because there was old Black people in the community that they didn't even knock on their fucking door. They didn't ask them what when I canvassed, I asked them what the government was not doing for them. Right. Mm-hmm. So my message is, don't buy their excuses. They lost because they don't now talk to Black people. What's your thought, James?
Did they even recruit enough Black people to go to those neighborhoods and talk to them?
And I mean, they're on the ground, and based on, and James, I'll pass it right to you, but apparently their on the ground campaigning was very, very poor. Very poor, but go ahead.
Sounds like there wasn't really much of a push to win then. I mean,
almost like it was a career grift, right? Almost like it was.
Look,
people like Jeff Weaver, man, he made payday again, despite the fact that he led another progressive campaign and burned it to the ground. But he got a paycheck though.
This is one of those things where they make money whether they get the job done or not. This is one of those things. And it sounds to me like anytime you have anytime a Democrat or somebody in the Democratic Party tries to win, they end up losing, but they end up still winning at the same time, because the goal was never really to win. It was just to keep the status quo in place. so that the status quo keeps happening, so that their gravy train keeps going, so that the gravy train doesn't stop. Um, Look, and that was on Nina for hiring people like Jeff Weaver and all them.
Yeah, she
'Cause-
ran objectively a bad campaign. She ran a horrific campaign. Look at this comment, Nina, and I still remember when this came out. Nina telling people she'd be like AOC wasn't helpful either.
No, because
She
they didn't
straight
get
up,
shit done.
she straight up said I remember she talking to Mike Figueredo from the Humanist Report, who was he asked her a decent question. Well, he said, "Yo, there are a lot of people who are upset with the squad. What's your message to them, in terms of getting their optimism up and wanting them to engage in electoral politics?" That's not the exact question, but that's summed up. That was the question he asked Nina, and Nina was like, "I'm gonna be straight with you guys. If you guys don't like AOC in the squad, if you're disappointed in them, you're gonna be disappointed in me." Well, what the fuck? Why would you say that? You're running a It was just a horrible campaign. Then Nina ignored the margin for Medicare for all. Once again, I'm not making this a whole thing about bashing Nina. The only reason I brought this up is because Steve said what leftists need to do is start organizing in Black communities, because we are leading the anti-capitalist charge. There was just a poll that just came out that showed that it's actually young Black people, that is actually Black people that are the most socialist, are the most anti-capitalist. So the idea that you cannot run a grassroots campaign to win these people over is beyond absurd. And that's what progressives will have you believe. That's what they will have you believe. And once again, I am telling you guys this as a citizen journalist who was talking to the most conservative Black people in the nation. I mean, that was blowing my mind. You talking about Black people in South Carolina? I told you guys this story before. I tell it again, just to let you guys know what I was dealing with when I was talking to these Black people. Who I was convinced a lot of these people, they wasn't saying they were socialists. They didn't say they was communists, but they was agreeing with socialist ideology. I just masked that shit when I talk to people. They was like, "Yeah, this is good ideas." I talked to one guy, and James, I know you will hate this story because it was pretty shocking, right? There was this Black guy I was talking to, older Black dude, South Carolina. Once again, Black people in South Carolina are extremely socially conservative. So I was talking to him, and it took me a long time to reach this guy, a long time, because he was immediately, "What the hell are you doing on my property, boy? What the hell are you doing?" Then I'm like, "Well, I want to talk." Now my line always was, "I want to see what's going on in your community, like what politicians not doing for you." Like that's how I open them up. I slowly started opening them up, but this guy was kind of an asshole. But I was like, "Damn," he's like, "Yeah, I think we should have healthcare. Yeah, they need to pay people more." And then we start talking about the candidates. And then we were going down the list. I was trying to sell them on Bernie at the time. And then we were talking about Pete Buttigieg. To let you guys know what we're dealing with down there. And let you guys know why Pete Buttigieg did so horrible in South Carolina. I was like, "Yeah, Pete Buttigieg is horrible." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't like Pete Buttigieg." I was like, "Yeah." Then me and my crew, we was like, "Yeah, this is good. This is good. We don't like Pete Buttigieg." He was like, "Yeah, there's no way I would ever vote for a gay man." Whoa. That is not where I was going with this. He was like, this dude said, he was like, "I would rather vote for Donald Trump before I vote for a..." Sorry that you had to hear this, James. But once again, I'm saying this because I'm letting you guys know that this is how conservative a lot of these Black people are in South Carolina and the South. They're extremely anti-gay. They're extremely social conservative. But despite that, I still at least got them to agree on economic left ideas. And that's an extreme example. I admit that, but I will never forget that. Cause I was like, I had to quickly say, "Oh, that's not where I was going." I wasn't like, "Yeah, Pete Buttigieg sucks." Like, "Yeah, fuck Pete Buttigieg." And he pulled out the straight up hardcore homophobia shit. But anyway, I'm just ripping now. Any last thing you want to say, Jay, before we wrap up? Any last comments you want to read? But anyway, that whole thing started because we do need. I'm telling you guys, Black people, brown people, indigenous people, we are ready, man. There's no one more ready for an anti-capitalist movement than we are.
Yep. This is why we need to talk more on class issues. You know, because then the social issues will fill in the blanks once you get on the class issues. But thanks Zach Poyles for the super chat. Really appreciate all the hard work and laser focus on policies to make Americans' life better. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I also want to give a thank you to everybody who's listening on Rockfin. as well. And so thanks to everybody that's on there as well. Um, and make sure to catch me on my channel. I'll be live on there on Tuesday with Nick next Tuesday. So at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you guys can go to the JB Font channel and go there. This Sunday will be my first stream in 2022. So I'm going to be welcoming, basically the new year. I'll be talking about some stuff that I've been wanting to bring up. And yeah, Nick, what you got?
Yeah, I appreciate everyone for watching. You guys see comment from my dear friend Quaker Socialist. Much love and appreciation of the Quaker, amazing mutual aid activist who taught me a ton when it comes to organizing. So much love to Quaker Socialist, who Quaker anarchist now. So you changed your name. You see that? I literally didn't even see that till now. So Quaker anarchist now. Nice, I like it. So if you guys want to support, the best way to do it is via Patreon. You also can support us directly via Venmo, support your favorite creators. Super chats are great. Supporting us via YouTube and on Twitch is great. But those platforms, they take a significant amount, right? So why pay Google instead of paying us directly, right? If you want to show support. So support us on Patreon. James got a GoFundMe for his medical costs, so make sure you donate and support him. That's the best way to do it. Don't pay fucking YouTube, guys. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We got a lot of great shows coming up. Like I said, James got the first stream in the new year. And thank everyone for watching. This is Social MMA. JB, sign out, homies. Take care.